Yeah, okay. Now we're gonna start. So our session today is about teaching writing. I'm not talking about teaching writing like it's the step one, you have to do this. The step two, you have to do this. The step three, you have to do this. Because I know all of you that you are a teacher, you are teachers, and of course, you know how to teach writing. But the most important thing that I'm going to talk about this one. Actually, this article is very useful, and actually it helps me a lot in my classroom. Let me tell you a personal experience before I go through the session. Last year, my class was very good, but they had a bad or a poor writing skill. Okay, let me tell you that it was poor. They don't know how to even write a complete sentence. At the beginning, I was shocked. How can I help them? How can I improve them? They don't know how to write even a sentence, a complete sentence. How can I ask them to write introduction? How can they write openers, connective? And so how can I help them? So I tried to make it easier for them. And I started with like first step, second, third, and so on. And actually this article helps me a lot, okay? That's why I decided to make like a workshop to explain what I have done during the class. So before I start, let me ask you a question. What do you think VCOP mean? Let's look here. What does this acronym mean? VCOP. What does it mean? What do you think? Who can tell me? What does V stand for? And what does C stand for? And what does O stand for? And P stand for what? So can you tell me? Just guess. You can guess. V vocabulary. Okay, vocabulary. Well done. And what about C? Okay, fairly great. And what about C? What do you think? Connection or content? Okay, capitalization, maybe. Context, maybe. Okay. Muhammad Ahmed, I think that you read it. Okay. Coherence, maybe. Coherence and cohesion, maybe. Connection, object, okay. And what about O? What do you think about O? Organization, original, okay. Yeah, what else? Okay, and what about P? Obvious? Maybe. Okay, and what about P? Practice, maybe. Punctuation, phrase. Okay, now thank you so much for your participation. And now let's kick off the session and know what is this acronym stands for. So I want you first to look at these two pictures and tell me, do you guess right? Do you guess correctly? V actually is for vocabulary. Vocabulary. How can we use vocabulary? And C stands for connectors. And O, it's for something which is called openers. Openers. And P is something which stands for punctuation. Punctuation marks. Now let's see how can VCOP helps us in our writing, okay? So, first of all, VCOP is it's like how it can be used to improve children's writing. So we're gonna tackle some hints and tips for teaching at a school or even at home. As I told you, VCOP is an acronym for vocabulary, connective, openers, and punctuations. Now let's examine each core target in details, okay? If you follow this strategy, it will help you to encourage your children or even your learner to write a persuasive writing or writing to inform, by the way. So, first of all, yes, well done, Del. What's your name, Del? Okay, can you just rename yourself? Okay. Okay, before we start, who can tell me what is the importance of VCOP? What is the importance of that? Do you think it's important? Khalid, okay, just rename yourself. Okay, what is the importance of this strategy in writing? What do you think? Am I talking fast or it's okay? Am I talking fast or it's okay? Well done, Julia. Yeah, okay. Okay, great. So it helps children to write fast. Okay, what else? Actually, it helps students to write an effective sentence. Okay, Muhammad, yes, perfect. But we are talking about how to teach writing itself. We're talking about how to encourage them to boost their writing skill, to enhance the writing skill. How can I urge or push them to be like having a creativity in writing? Do you know creativity in writing? And instead of writing very simple sentence together, I wake up, I go to school, I play football. So these are separate sentences. They are separate sentences. So how can I help him or her to write a paragraph which has like a cohesive and coherence devices? Okay, so let's look here. Vocabulary, connective, openers, and punctuation form the building block of narrative writing. Once the children have mastered the basics of sentence structure like spelling, grammar, vocabulary, and so on, then they need to work on making the writing more readable and more interesting, and instead of writing just simple sentences. So VCOP enables children to find their own voices as writer. I'm able to write very well. And also we can encourage them to use this in their speaking to become more fluent. So when children first start writing, they are limited. They have a very short power of writing. They can only write just small, simple sentence. How can I ask them to develop this simple sentence into more advanced sentence, into more cohesive sentence? And how can I ask them to connect sentences together in order to build a very effective paragraph? This is what we have to do in the classroom. Okay, so VCOP writing helps children to overcome these hurdles by plenty of varied vocabulary. They can really develop the picture they want to read or they want to express into a paragraph. Okay. Connectives bring more flow to the narrative, helping children to structure sentence in creative ways. We are not talking about writing very simple sentences. Openers are quite important or quite crucial for variety. Okay, so now let's focus on the first one, which is vocabulary. Let me make it like this in order to see it. Okay. Mohammed, I'm not talking about process approach as I told you. I'm talking about how can we help them to develop the writing skills. I'm not talking about the process of the writing lesson or so. I'm talking about how can I encourage them to write? How can I improve the writing skill itself? I'm not talking about process approach or not. You got it? So now let's start with the first one, which is vocabulary. V is for vocabulary. So vocabulary is made of different types, as you know. So like, can you see the screen, guys? Please confirm. Yep, okay. So the first one is adjectives. Adjectives. How can I ask students to write adjectives? How can I ask them to develop their writing skills? And instead of saying, I bought a dress, tell your learners that they have to add magic. They have to add magic to the sentence. So this vocabulary, adding magic to the sentence. Instead of saying, I bought a jacket, you can say, I bought a beautiful jacket. So here you add magic. You make the sentence wow. You got it? So adjectives are words that used to describe a noun and to make the writing more descriptive. It makes the writing like lovely and interesting to read. It's not plain. No, it has like a soul. It has a power. I can feel, I can visualize, I can imagine through writing. So for example, the rain had created a beautiful rainbow. So instead of saying the rain had created a rainbow, we can say a beautiful, outstanding rainbow, for example. So here I add magic. So this is the magic of vocabulary. So number one, it's the adjective. And also here, try to use synonyms. Always, always, always pay attention that you are encouraging your students to use synonyms and don't allow them to repeat words. If they said one time beautiful, so tell them that we can say lovely, we can say wonderful, we can say outstanding, we can say charming, we can say, just give them a variety of vocabulary to use. Expose them to the vocabulary and they will use it, by the way. Okay, let me tell you a personal experience that I told you before. Okay, السنة اللي فاتت لما دخلت الكلاس كان شاطر جدا ولكن كان مستواه في الكتابة very poor. And I'm not bragging on myself. I'm a normal teacher and more people are better than me. أنا مش بقول إن أنا بقى يعني I'm brag يعني أنا مش بتفخر بنفسي ولا so on. بس أنا فعلا دخلت الكلاس لقيتهم محتاجين help. They weren't able to write even just one sentence. هم ما كانوش عارفين يكتبوا just one sentence. ولكن أنا encouraged them step by step. خليتهم في الأول إن هم يكتبوا normal paragraph. لدرجة إن كان المطلوب منهم إن هم يكتبوا مثلا على التوريزم و place they visit and so on. أنا بدأت معاهم ب a very simple thing اللي هي إيه بقى؟ قبل ما نبدأ نعمل انترو خفيفة قوي على الجملة اللي إحنا عايزين نقولها. مثلا إحنا نتكلم على الديلي روتين، بدل ما تقول I wake up على طول قول لي مثلا I do a lot of things in my daily routine. This is perfect. It's natural. بعد كده بدأت إن أنا encourage them إن هم يستخدموا first, then after that, finally. حبوها وبدأوا يستخدموها. After that طمعت في أكتر. طب ما بدل نستخدم كل شوية and خلينا نستخدم furthermore moreover وin addition وaddition. Furthermore, moreover, addition, in addition, additionally, in addition. بدأوا يستخدموها. بعد كده بدأت أوصل معاهم إن إحنا نكتب الconclusion. عايزة أقول لكم إن بعد 4 sessions بقى عندهم القدرة إن هم بيكتبوا حلوة قوي. حلوة قوي بالنسبة للمستوى اللي هم كانوا فيه. By the end of the term, على نهاية الترم ما شاء الله ما كنتوش تتوقعوا إن اللي كانوا بيكتبوا just one sentence بقوا يكتبوا paragraph of more than 90 words وعندهم cohesive devices, عندهم lexical resources قوية جدا, بيستخدموا variety of tenses وكمان بيعملوا starter و conclusion. ده مش عشان أنا teacher جامدة وأحسن teacher في الدنيا، لا خالص، أنا عادية جدا ونورمال جدا وبسيطة جدا جدا جدا. ولكن أنا عملت إيه؟ أنا I put my hand on the weak points and I start to ameliorate it. That's it. كل اللي أنا عملته إن أنا حطيت إيدي على نقاط الضعف اللي عندهم وحاولت إن أنا أحسنها. بس هم ما كانوش يعملوا عارفين ستارتر، فأنا اديت لهم الستارتر. ما كانوش عارفين الكونكتيف ديفايسز، فأنا اديت لهم الكونكتيف. ما كانوش عارفين يعملوا conclusion، ساعدتهم، كتبوا. بس we can and they can, but we have to work together in order to achieve what we want. احنا نقدر وهم يقدروا، بس احنا وهم لازم نتحد كده مع بعض عشان نوصل للي احنا عايزينه. So this is about adjective. Now let's move to verbs. Verbs is doing or an action word. The sentence is not complete without a verb. Just focus on this, because while they are writing, sometimes they forgot to add the verb, which is the main important part of the sentence. For example, the dog is jumping over the puddles or stuff. Okay. Now let's move to the adverbs. And actually, the adverbs like have a superpower of making the sentence from being a dull, simple sentence to be the most advanced sentence ever, just with the magic of adverbs. بس باستخدام الماجيك of adverbs. So adverbs here describe how an action is being carried out. Okay? So please guys concentrate on your cameras. أنا مش هعرف أقفل الكاميرز للأسف على الكل، ولكن يعني take care of your cameras please. So an adverb describes how an action is being carried out. Adverbs are sometimes said to describe the manner or time. To put it simply, they tell you how and when and where and what. Just say what. How, what, when, where, why. Okay? Something is being done. For example, the dog lay down. How? Lazily. When do you wake up every day? I frequently wake up at 6 o'clock. Got it? So try to encourage them to use that. And the most important thing that I do with my children, learners, and even the adults, that I help them to use adverbs before the adjective, which make like advanced lexical resources. Like, and instead of saying beautiful, you can say extremely beautiful, absolutely beautiful, like this, okay? So now let's see how we can introduce the wow words. Wow words. What does the wow words mean? What does it mean? What do you think? What is the wow words? What does the word words mean? Huh? What do you think? I'm closing the mic, I know, but I'm gonna allow you to open your mic if you want to participate. Okay, huh? Who can tell me what are the word words? What do you think? ايه هي الواو words? Adjectives, okay, adjective and adverbs, okay. Word that express surprise, maybe. Adverbs, okay. Adjective, adverb, yeah, okay. Okay, what words can have an effect on the reader to encourage the use of interesting vocabulary that may be told while words? So, do you remember the sense of magic? Yes, Muhammad, perfect. Like what I said before, that adding magic. Do you remember? So if we use one word, so we will add the magic to our sentence. We're gonna make it better, okay, and more powerful. Okay, what are the word words? Now let me focus here. Okay, word words are often described as ambitious words. Super degree of the word, and are used in a place of more simple words considered too boring for their writing. So we have adverbs like colorful, sparkly, scary, ugly, sharp, bouncy. Okay, we have adverbs like incredible, absolutely, extremely, beautifully, terrifying, vicious. Okay, verbs like sprinted, whispered, and so on. So just we have to encourage our students to use these words and instead of saying for simple sentence. If they write, for example, I spent a day in Alexandria, for example. Tell them, why don't we add magic? We can add an adverb to the verb, and we can add an adverb to the adjective, and we can put an adjective in order to describe the noun. Make it like a chain. You got it? So instead of saying, I spent a day in Luxor, I spent an extremely beautiful day in Luxor. Adverb, adjective. I add magic. Perfect. Got it? You got what I mean here? Do you have any questions in this part? في حد عنده أي سؤال يا جماعة في البارت ده؟ حد عنده أي سؤال؟ مش بيرد عليا. ردوش عليا ليه؟ اوكي، حد عنده أي حاجة يا شباب عايز يقولها؟
No, miss. Thanks a lot.
Okay, great. Okay, Julia, you have to say continue, please. You have to add magic to your sentence. Okay, so this is the first part of V, which is vocabulary. عزة, I'm not sure. حد كده يا جماعة يشوف كاميرا عزة مفتوحة ولا مقفولة عشان احنا مش شايفين, بس I think هي مقفولة عندي. I'm not sure. Okay, and now let's move to the second one, which is C, and C stands for C stands for what? Connectives. Yes, well done. Connectives. Great job. So C stands for connectives. These are words that join other words together in the sentence or a piece of text. Okay, so they are often overlooked smaller functional words that help us link our writing together. They help us to produce a cohesive paragraph. And instead of saying just separate sentences, we're gonna connect them together. We're gonna build them together by adding the magic of connective. They help our words flow and lead on from one to another without sounding boring or so. Okay, so here we have ربنا يخليكم يا جماعه ميرسي ركزوا بس معايا وبعدين ادعوا لي في النهايه. There are two main groups of connective conjunctions. The first one is coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions. Okay, I know that all of you know it, which is fanboys. Who can tell me what does fanboy stand for? Fanboy stand for what? A for A and, perfect. And Nori, A and, well done. B but and Nori, O Uri, yes, perfect. Y yet, and S so. Great job. So try in the sentence to encourage, to push, you know, push them to use coordinating conjunction. For example, a is used to link two independent clauses together. For example, I love roller coaster and I adore long food. So here and is a connective device that I use in order to connect or chunk these instead of saying chunk sentences. I love roller coaster and adore vlog so and so. So here we have fanboys. Fanboys stand for 7 coordinating conjunction, which is F for, and for means what? For has the same meaning of what? Yes, excellent. Because. Good job. For has the same meaning of because. So you can encourage them to use for instead of because. And in the next page that we're gonna know another 2 connective devices that we can use instead of because also. Okay, well done, perfect, Hossein, great job. So A and encourage them to use furthermore, moreover, in addition, and additionally, instead of saying and all the time. I'm not talking about to tell the student that they shouldn't use and, of course not. I don't never ever tell you that, but I mean to encourage them to use these words instead of saying and or repeating and many times. And or, B but, O or, Y yet. Okay, and S is for so. Okay, so here we go. We have the fanboys. Okay. Well done, Asma. Perfect. In addition to, additionally, furthermore, Khalid, moreover, we have a lot. Yes, Asma, perfect. To use extra synonyms. We are encouraging them to use extra synonyms. Besides, yes, great job as well. Okay. The next one, or the second one, subordinate conjunctions. Subordinate conjunctions. Actually, we have an acronym for this one. if essence as a, take care that since and as, if I use them as a connective device, they mean because they will get confused between the using of sense as a connective device and sense in the present perfect. Take care. You have to clarify this. You have to focus on the use of sense in this sentence. For example, I went to the bank since I need some money. Explain the meaning of sense here and tell them that sense here differs from sense in the present perfect, which is I haven't gone to the club since Saturday. Okay, so you have to clarify the meaning of the two sentences. A, although and her family. Although and her family. Do you know the family of although? Although, though, even though. Encourage them to use although, though, even though, if they are talking about two different ideas, or they want to express contrast. So just encourage them to use although and her family. Her family, though, although, even though, they are family. If you want to explain more and more, you can encourage them to use despite and in spite of. But take care to clarify that after despite and in spite of, we have to use verb in ing form. Because if you don't clarify them, they will write despite I was ill, I went to school. And this is, of course, totally wrong. Because after despite and in spite of, we should use a noun or a gerund. Okay. After, before, until, and because. As we said that, we will tell them that don't use because all the time and try to use since, as, or for, and instead, right? What is the difference between although and though? There is no difference in the grammar structure, but it has a very, very, very light difference in the meaning. Okay, in the meaning, but in the grammar, no, they are both acceptable. No, Amira, no, you can introduce it in the writing lesson itself. For example, I want to say that I was ill, but I went to school. Why don't we use something instead of but? Who can tell me? Although I was ill, I went to school. That's it. They will understand it without exerting a lot of efforts, without making like a whole class about connected devices. Just encourage them to learn while you are teaching them the writing itself. The previous slide, we linked two sentences using and dependent, although, but I know that without subject. Is it right? Hossein, please open your mic. I can't understand what you have written. Sorry.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام. أنا مش فاهمة إيه the second sentence without. لا ما فهمتش.
Can you go to the previous slide?
No, this one? Yeah. Okay.
No, the other one, the previous one.
This one? Okay.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. I roller coasters and adore log views.
Yeah.
Here without subject. So in that case, I think it's not independent clause. One dependent, and if we delete and in that case, of course.
No. I got you. I got you. No,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about independent or so. Actually, first of all, we can't use coordinating conjunction with dependent clause. By the way,
Yeah, because
okay, the only thing that we can use coordinating conjunction with two independent clause, we connect them together.
Yeah,
Okay,
I got the,
so
I got
here I'm just adding like another thing, another item. I'm adding another item, like apples and banana.
you wrote up here, there are independent clauses, two independent clauses. It means,
you know,
of course,
the difference
because
between independent and dependent?
Of course. Yeah, of course, I know.
Yeah, okay. Look, complete that we can join together into a more complex sentence. I'm not talking about
this, of course, it's compound sentence. And
yes,
if you
I
use,
know.
of course, the other,
I'm just giving you a hint that we have to use complex sentence. Got me?
Yeah, of course, if you use any connectors for the others, like although and the
it will be complex. It will be complex, not compound.
In turn is here
actually,
from
we are helping learners in order to write, not to differentiate between compound and complex. After a while, they will be able to differentiate between them. But we are talking about this. I'm not explaining that the student must use compound sentence and complex sentence, and I'm gonna explain two separate sentences together. No, I'm not talking about this anymore. I'm talking about how to help them to write complex and compound without telling them that compound and this is complex.
Yeah, of course, I got it. Yeah, I got it, of course. Yeah, but
okay. So, you can't just give them I saw a lamb, okay, to identify like fanboys. Some صدفة your camera, I stopped the camera. Okay, so you can just give them this acronym in order to make it easier for them to understand or to memorize. If try to encourage them to use if conditional, even if the first conditional if. The first conditional if only. If I have a day off, I'll travel to Hurghada. Okay? Since instead of because, as instead of because, when like if. Okay? Although if I'm going to talking about two different ideas or two different issues, طب معلش يا جماعه انا هقفل المايكس ولو حد عنده سؤال raise your hand. تمام. While, after, be, before, until and because. طبعا تقدروا ان انتوا تستخدموا المتيسر منكم على حسب المستوى اللي انت بتدرسيه او المستوى اللي معاك. مش كل دول ممكن ناخدهم، يعني لو مثلا في البرايمري ممكن نستخدم لحد الكوردينيتنج كونجنكشن وكده. دخلنا prep ممكن نستخدم بقى subordinate conjunction ونencourage them ان هم يستخدموه لان هم already بيدرسوا الحاجات دي، فهتبقى سهله ان احنا apply it. بس مش ان احنا explain دي compound ودي complex ودي، احنا مش ده القضيه بتاعتنا. احنا القضيه بتاعتنا ان احنا نخليهم يعملوا ده. After a while نبقى نخليهم بقى نعرفهم ان ده compound وده complex وده وده وده، زي ما احنا بنديهم الانترو والبودي والconclusion. Got it؟ تعالوا بقى نتكلم على حاجه كمان، ودي I think يعني I really do admire it، عجبتني جدا جدا جدا. ال O for openers. openers، okay؟ هنحفظهم الاوبنرز ازاي encourage them to add the magic of I space ازاي. ركزوا في الجزئيه دي لان بجد يعني I really like it and it's so interesting and powerful, really. Okay, an opener is the first phrase of word used in a sentence. There are lots of different ways of opening sentences. When children or learners first start writing, they will start most sentence with I, he, she, they, or I want to say, or so and so. Right? So just encourage them to use a process which is called I space. I space to help teach them some more creative openers. openers بالعربي معناها يعني جايه من كلمه open ان انت تفتتحي بيها الجمله، تمام؟ هنقول لهم مثلا ان احنا meet lady I space. الفيديو ده فاني جدا وانتراكتيف قوي وهيساعدكم كتير كتير كتير. هسيب لكم طبعا اللينك. هيساعدكم كتير جدا ان انتوا introduce this part بطريقه interactive قوي. Okay, now let's watch this video together. عايزاكم كمان وانتوا بتتفرجوا بصوا على الطريقه اللي هيقدم بيها ازاي هيستخدم الاوبنر وهو بيقدمها. Okay. The voice is clear, right?
Looking Earthlings. My name is Iggy Iceface, an inhabitant of Europa, the smallest of Jupiter's moons. I have beamed down to visit Earth to try and help you with your sentence writing skills. Have you heard of fronted adverbials on your planet? What?
Fronted adverbials. Fronted adverbials. طبعا لو اديتهم الكلمة دي هم هيتخضوا. ايه fronted adverbials دي؟ ده صعب عليا. انا هعرفها منين؟ لكن لما اقول له I space هيفرح space الفضاء يا سلام والكواكب الفضائية will be very interesting. Okay?
What are they and where do you use them? An adverbial is a word, phrase, or clause that is used like an adverb to modify another verb or a clause. Adverbs themselves can be used as adverbials, but many other types of words, phrases, and clauses can be used in this way, including prepositional phrases and subordinate clauses. A fronted adverbial is when one of these adverbial words, phrases, or clauses is used at the beginning of a sentence. You can use the letters from my surname to help you to create fronted adverbials. You could start your fronted adverbial with an ing word, a simile, a preposition, an adverb, a conjunction, or an ed word.
Here we are introducing them to use adverb and adverbial phrases without saying that this is adverbial phrase. It will be very hard to understand what does adverbial phrase mean. Actually, we are teachers and we sometimes get confused between the compound sentence, complex sentence, and compound complex sentence. So how can I introduce to a learner or child that I'm going to tell you an adverbial phrase? What? He will be taught. He will be taught. He won't understand. He won't understand anything. Just being taught like this. But if I introduce it in a very funny way or an interactive way, and take care of the word interactive way, will be very creative. So,
I will
let's
let
look
one
here.
of you Earthlings try and explain a little more.
Thanks, Iggy. Take a look at this sentence. Iggy tried out his new zero-gravity boots.
الجملة دي جملة عادية جدا وهم يقدروا يكتبوها. Iggy tried out بيجرب his new zero gravity boots. حلو قوي. How can I add the magic? ازاي نعمل magic؟ تعلموهم كده نقدر نعمل magic ازاي؟ الجملة دي very poor. Very poor. ضعيفة boring كمان. poor and boring. ازاي بقى اعمل لها magic؟ ازاي استخدم wow words؟ How can I use wow words Concentrate.
Let's use iSpace to improve this sentence with different types of fronted adverbial. First, let's try using an ing word. Bouncing along the surface of Europa, Iggy tried out his new zero gravity.
أول حاجة عندي اللي هي bouncing along the surface of Europe. هو استخدم الجملة دي. بلاش مستوى الولاد عندنا ما يقدروش يجيبوا جملة زي دي. بدل ما يقول لك مثلا I like to play أو I like playing football. Both are acceptable طبعا زي ما انتم عارفين. I like to play football. I like playing football. Both are acceptable. طب ما أنا أشجعه يبدأ يستخدم ing. أقول له طب ما تيجي نadd magic على play تبقى playing. Playing football is my favorite sport مثلا. يبقى أنا كده عملت adding magic. أنا خليته يستخدم. ثواني. جميل يا أمنية. أنا خليته يستخدم adverbial phrases واستخدمت advanced phrases من غير ما أقول له إن أنا هخليك تستخدم adverbial phrases. أنا خليته يفكر. Adding magic with ing. ing, if we add ing to the verb, it will make one word. Play, playing, watch, watching, eat, eating, dance, dancing, walk, walking, and start the sentence and form a sentence. Will be very easy for them. Okay, now let's move to the second one.
Gravity boots. We have used the verb bouncing as the opening word of this fronted adverbial. Bouncing along the surface of Europa, Iggy tried out his new zero-gravity boots. Or we could use a simile. Like an excited child.
Simile لما أجي أخليه يستخدم كلمة like أو as أو حاجة فيها simile. طب ما تيجي نقول زي إيه؟ Sarah is very beautiful. شبه إيه؟ Beautiful زي إيه؟ Like flower. مثلا. Got it? So على فكرة الطريقة دي بتجيب مع البريب والادلتس أكتر من الليترال ليرنينج كمان. يعني اوعوا تفكروا إن الطريقة دي very simple. لا أنا بدرسها لكم أهو وأنتوا adults. تمام؟ فالطرق كلها بدل interactive وinteresting هتجيب مع أي حد learner مهما كان عمره.
Iggy tried out his new zero-gravity boots.
Like an excited child. هو ممكن يكتبها لك لو عمل زي ما انت بتقول هيكتب لك like a child. Let's imagine. What can we like add the magic to the word child? Okay, let's add the magic. Let's add an adjective to describe the child. Is the child like active or lazy? Active, so like an active child, and so on. If they write, I bought a computer. What about the computer? Is it expensive or a cheap one? Expensive. So why don't we add the magic of these powerful adjectives before the noun? I bought an expensive laptop or a computer. Just encourage them to use what words. Just encourage them to use the power of adjectives and adverbs.
We have used the word like to start this simile-fronted adverbial and compared Iggy to an excited child. Like an excited child, Iggy tried out his new zero-gravity boots. How about using a preposition? Upon the dusty ground, Iggy...
Prepositional phrase. خلي بالكم التيتشرز بقى احنا طبعا عارفين انها prepositional phrase. هم هيعرفوا انا هقول له استخدم prepositional phrase هيبص لي كده باستغراب. اقدمها له كده بقى.
Tried out his new zero-gravity boots. Upon is the preposition used here to begin another type of fronted adverbial. Upon the dusty ground, Iggy tried out his new zero-gravity boots. This fronted
مثلا ده
adverbial
ممكن ينفع
could also be
كمان مع
called a prepositional phrase.
يتكلموا مثلا عن
Another way
المطمن
to
اللي
start a
عندهم
fronted adverbial
كلهم
is simply
يستخدموا
by using an adverb.
عارفة أعمل إيه؟
Enthusiastically,
أعمل pause.
Iggy tried out his new zero-gravity boots.
خلوهم يستخدموا prepositional phrase في الأول يبدأوا ب preposition زي إيه مثلا؟ خلوني أجيب لكم حاجة بسيطة جدا. In the modern world مثلا in the modern world أبدأ أشجعهم. لو أنتوا اديت لهم اللاينز اللي هيمشوا عليها وحطيت لهم كده steps يمشوا عليها هتلاقيهم بيطلعوا معاكم step by step. زي ما قلت لكم we can, they can, but we have to work together. That's it. Okay.
Enthusiastically, Iggy tried out his new zero-gravity boots.
هم طبيعي بياخدوا الادverbs. ممكن نقول ان احنا ممكن نخلي الادجective ونحط لها adding magic by adding 2 letters only, ly, to add the magic of the adjective and to make it adverb, and we can use it like excited, excitedly. Well done. Happy, happily. We can put it before the verb or after the verb, or to begin the sentence with. So you add the magic. Don't tell them that this is an adjective and this is an adverb. How can I form the adverb? So simply add ly to the adjective. Boring. Boring. And they will immediately forget that. To be honest, they will immediately forget them. But if I tell them that we are doing some magic, they will concentrate on the magic and they are going to do magic, so they won't, never ever forget it. So how can I add the magic to the adjective in order to make it adverb? So simply we have to add, ly. So excited, excitedly, happy, happily, sad. Add the magic, sadly. That's all. Beautiful, beautifully. You got it?
This adverb of manner helps to create a more detailed sentence. Enthusiastically, Iggy tried out his new
طبعا
zero-gravity boots.
enthusiastically ممكن تكون يعني مستوى advanced شوية، ممكن هما ما يعرفوهاش، ممكن ما أخدوهاش، نبدلها بأي كلمة happily, excitedly. Okay?
We could also use a conjunction. After he eagerly unwrapped his latest purchase, Iggy tried out his new zero-gravity boots.
أنا الconjunction دي كمان كنت بhelp them إن هم يستخدموها while they are like narrative their daily routine. After I wake up, I take a shower. They use after. I encourage them that just to use conjunction. Without saying that, you have to tell me that. Before I take a shower, I eat my lunch or so on. Okay.
The subordinating conjunction after starts this fronted adverbial. After he eagerly unwrapped his latest purchase, Iggy tried out his new zero-gravity boots. Because after is a subordinating conjunction, and this opening clause also has a subject and a verb, this fronted adverbial would also be classified as a subordinate clause. Lastly, you could start your fronted adverbial with an ed word. Delighted with his birthday gift, Iggy tried out his new zero-gravity boots.
هما بياخدوا الادجكتيف اللي فيها ing which express something and ed which express people. طبعا هو احنا ممكن كمان استخدم ال ing to express people by the way if they are the main source of this theme. So if I say that Muhammad is boring, that means he caused a lot of boring, a lot of boring in my life. You got it? So I can do it. But in their stage, we shouldn't like tell them that because they may get confused. But we have to encourage them to use these adjectives. And instead of just memorizing them as they are, so let's encourage them to use it in writing. And instead of memorizing one adjective, so why not they use it in their writing? Got it?
The verb delighted starts this fronted adverbial. Delighted with his birthday gift, Iggy tried out his new zero-gravity boots.
So, my little extraterrestrial chums,
So
have you got
I space stand for ing, S simile, P preposition, A adverb, C conjunction, and E ed word. So do you like I space? Do you like I space strategy? Do you like it or not? Do you like it or not? Great. الحمد لله. الحمد لله. تمام، كويس جدا. طيب بصراحة كده يا جماعة، كم حد يعني أنا عارفة إن أنتوا كلكم do their يعني your best in order to help them write more creative sentence. بس يعني كم حد بيستخدم الميثودز دي أو الاستراتيجيز دي عشان يكتبوا بيها؟ يعني دايما كده الرايتنج كلاس بيبقى so boring بالنسبه لناس معينين، يعني بيحسوا ان هو boring وبيبقى boring على كمان التيتشرز نفسهم. فكم حد مننا بيستخدم الماجيك ده عشان نخلي الدنيا more interactive اكتر، more interesting اكتر؟ حلو جدا يا جوليا، كويس. حلو جدا يا أمنية، ده حاجة جميلة جدا إن أنت هتعملي ده من النهارده، يا رب أكون سبب إن أنت تتفوقي أكتر. حلو يا جوليا، بس مش فريم، أصل فريم هيبقى بالنسبة لك برضو إيه؟ يعني هو فريم هيبقى like what? No, you have to add the magic, you have to make it more powerful. Yes, well done. This is okay to memorize some words. This is perfect. This is perfect. Yeah, great job. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm using this, but I don't know. Great job, now you know. So try to add some magic, some more magic. Okay, let's move to the last one, which is P, and P stands for punctuation. Okay, so before we start, how many punctuation marks do we have? How many punctuation marks do we have? Just write down the answer. Yeah, many, how much? I'm not talking about, I'm saying how many. A lot, how many? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, how many? Count. Close to 20? Not like this. 11, you're close. 10, close. 5 only? No, Shireen, not 5, more. 20, not like this. 13, 15 maybe. So no exact number. Actually, we have 14. We have the full stop, comma, exclamation point, question mark, colon, semicolon, dash, hyphen, bracket, brace, ellipses, potato, punctuation marks, and apostrophe. So we have a lot, right? Okay. So, actually, this is, in my opinion, this is very important part while you are teaching your students, because it's very easy to tell them that you have to put full stop at the end of the sentence. Perfect. How can you teach them if they start by furthermore, addition, and additionally, moreover? How can they add comma? And after, and before the fanboys, they have to put comma. So this is quite challenging in your teaching. And this is also help them to master the use of the punctuation marks. So just encourage them to, please show the previous screen, okay. Just encourage them to use more and more sentences in order to take care of the punctuation mark. I usually, this is my method, I usually tell them that the first sentence, in order to be quiet, we have to add full stop. And the fanboys usually connect the two sentences, but before we add it, they tell me that I don't like to be beside the sentence, so please separate me. So I have to add comma. Okay, this is like a funny way. So this is a final word that makes up VCOP. Having proper punctuation is important to add interest and variety in a child's writing. It's the separation of words with spaces or punctuation marks to ensure the intended meaning is understood. Okay, so we have here inverted commas. The only one, it's inverted comma side. Inverted commas. Okay, so this is about today's session. That's all. Okay, do you have any questions? Okay, do you have any question at this point? Now we're gonna apply an example together. We're gonna apply an example together, but this is that strategy. Do you have any question in this strategy? VCOP. Do you have any problem? Okay, now let's focus here on a very simple example. Okay. خلونا بقى احنا كل ده بنتكلم كلام نظري جدا على الفيكا. طب تعالوا نابلاي ات. اوكي، بجمله بسيطه جدا. انا عندي dog والdog catches a ball، فانا عايزه اقول ان الكلب مسك الكوره. The dog caught the ball. اي طالب في الدنيا هيكتب لك الكلمه دي. The dog caught the ball. Thank you. Perfect. How can I add the magic of VCOP? How can I tell them to add the magic of VCOP? Okay, how can we tackle VCOP target to improve this poor boring sentence? ازاي بقى اقاد الماجيك بتاعت الفيكوب اللي احنا عمالين نشرح فيها على الجمله البورينج دي واخليها واو. Let's see. Okay, number one, vocabulary. Instead of saying the dog, can we describe the dog? What color is a dog? White, brown, yes, well done. So the curly brown and white dog. Vocabulary, adjective, the power of adjective. Excitedly. Great job, ya Hasna. Excellent. The dog excitedly jumped. Before or after the verb. Okay? Okay, and what about this dog? Do you think he caught the ball excitedly and happily or sadly? No, excitedly. So let's add the word excitedly before the verb to add the magic of the adverb. So the curly brown and white dog excitedly jumped and caught the ball. What color of the ball? Bright yellow ball. So in order to teach students how to write a good sentence or an effective sentence, try to help them to say the words by your questions, like what I did now. What does the dog look like? What color of the dog? How did the dog catch the ball? How did the dog catch the ball? Happily or sadly? What color of the ball? Like that. So just ask them a lot of questions in order to produce a lot of effective sentences. Connective. If I want to add, this is the power of vocabulary. Good job. We wrote a very good sentence. What about adding the magic of connective? The curly brown and white dog excitedly jumped and caught the bright yellow ball while take care. Here, a connective device. Got it? So here we add the magic of connective devices. Okay? So openers. فاكرين الاوبنرز؟ كان اسمها ايه؟ كان ايه الاستراتيجي بتاعتها؟ الفيديو اللي احنا شفناه كان اسمه ايه؟ ها الاستراتيجي. You can tell me. كان اسمها ايه الاستراتيجي بتاعت الاوبنرز؟ Well done. Super. I space. Okay, who can tell me I stands for it? I stands for it? Great, Asma. Omneya, well done. ING. And S stands for it? S stands for it? Simile. Great. P stands for it? P. Prepositions. Great job. P, not E. A stands for it? Adverbs. And C stands for it? Conjunction. Yes, amazing. And E stands for ED words. Great job. So here's the openers stretching his legs. Stretching his legs. ING. Openers. Stretching his legs? Huh? What happened? The curly brown and white dog excitedly jumped and called so and so and so and so. Okay. We have the power of punctuation. That before the first sentence, we add comma. And at the end of the word or the sentence, we add full stop to complete the meaning. Got it? Okay. Well done. Great job. Perfect. We have a lot of words to say. Okay, so this is all about today's session. Thank you so much for participating and attending my session. I hope it was fruitful and useful for you. Thank you so much for being here. Do you have any questions? Thank you. Thank you, Amira. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Merci, merci. Thank you so much. حبيبتي يا منمن. حاضر summarize كله. احنا كنا بنتكلم على ال VCOP. قلنا ان الاستراتيجي بتاعت VCOP ببساطة it's about using the power of vocabulary, which is V, O, openers, C, connector or connective devices, and P, punctuation marks. We have some strategies that we have to follow in order to make it easier for you to explain the writing lesson, like I space, adding the magic of I space, adding the magic of VCOP strategy. That's all. ممكن الايه؟ young or young يعني intermediate upper intermediate اي حد في الدنيا ينفع معاه الاستراتيجي دي even التيتشرز نفسه. معلش يا سلوى انت كاتبه ممكن البور حضرتك بور ايه؟ الباوربوينت you mean؟ اها حبيبتي يا بوسي بسنت حبيبه قلبي حبيبتي يا منى. ثانك يو. هرفعه ان شاء الله وابعت لكم اللينك. حاضر. Do you have any questions؟ حد عنده اي سؤال يا شباب؟ Thank you so much. اتمنى ان انتم تكونوا استفدتوا. اشوفكم على خير ان شاء الله ومره ثانيه كده ان شاء الله باذن الله. Thank you so much حبايبي ربنا يخليكم. باي باي. Love you all. باي باي.